Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to go over some world predictions off of mundane and channeling for the United States for the month of November 2025. But before I get into my video, I need to put out a disclaimer that my videos are for, I wish I could say educational or spiritual purposes only, but YouTube says no, it is for entertainment purposes only, and what I speak on is not factual. So before we get into my predictions and what I was getting with the astrology, I want to say a prayer for Jamaica. Jamaica is about to get hit with a huge hurricane. That is a prediction of mine. I feel like it's going to go more north and it's going to ride right up on Jamaica, and I see a strong storm. I don't want to put a cat on it, but 4 to a 5 is possible here, and we could learn of Cuba, Haiti being affected, but strongly I'm seeing it go into a north direction near Jamaica. I watch these storms often because I don't live that far, and Florida is always getting hit. Okay, so here we go. We're going to talk about the northeast region of the United States, which would cover New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and Washington, D.C. Overall, what I'm getting in those states is cyber breach, transit chaos, and financial leaks. So we have Mercury-Neptune tension, which will hit Wall Street sectors. New York City faces a data center breach or stock exchange disruption. The dates that show up for that during that Mercury-Neptune tension would be from November 15th through the 18th. However, energies leak in and out 3 days before and prior, or prior and after, excuse me. So there's really no date for anything I'm speaking on, but I'll share what the transits represent in the time frame. Moving on to Boston, Washington, D.C. corridor. What I see there is transport outages, which would affect, say, Amtrak or some type of subway station in those areas. And I feel like it's going to be the software that's going to be glitching. Okay, whether it's hacked, whether it's just a fluke in the software, whether it updates and it stops, I don't know, but that could affect transport outages in the Boston, D.C. corridor area anytime in November. Next, we have political protest energy, which is going to rise in or around the Washington, D.C. area. Again, I have November 24th through the 26th, but it could be really any time, but those are the dates that are showing the strongest. And this is going to be over the government transparency chance. That's what I see there. Government transparency. That's what this is over. All right, let's move on to Midwest, Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota area. What I get there is auto industry cuts, and I see that especially for Michigan, but in that region, Midwest region, it's strong, it's prevalent there. Power grid fluctuation shows up. Labor strikes, because we have Saturn opposition Uranus, which triggers factory slowdowns and what I just mentioned. It also brings in layoffs in the car industry or any type of industry where you're working with auto parts, okay? Then we have Detroit and Chicago. This is showing me a short grid of blackouts or hacking attempts. So there could be some blackouts or hacking that's going to come into those areas, causing possibly a power outage or apps to go down in that area. Then we have unions push for new wage reforms around November 10th through the 20th. Could be any time in November, but pay attention. Unions push for new wage reforms around November 10th through the 20th. I feel like this is prevalent. It feels strong to me, and I channel it. I see that. So we're going to learn something, especially I get Illinois and Michigan for that, but in those states, right? Let's move down to the south. So this is going to cover Florida, Texas, Georgia, Tennessee, and the Carolinas, and possibly, because I'm getting something with Mississippi, I do believe there's going to be a weather surge, a hurricane tail, which is like the remnants of a storm, possibly. And I'm also getting something with border security. And that feels to be, of course, with Texas, we have something with border security coming in. We have the Mars-Jupiter configuration, which suggests late season tropical pressure and issues at a border. So that's why this is coming in. And the significant time for that would be November 6th through the 9th. And again, it could be a Gulf storm. It could be more tropical. And I'm not really picking up strongly that there's going to be a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. However, I could be wrong. It may just be more of a something tropical, or something that we're not expecting to come through there, which would be not good. But yeah, that's what the astrology is showing, and I'm not really channeling that. But it could be something brushing up against the Florida Panhandle, or even South Texas. Anywhere from South Texas to Florida. It could be just some kind of fluke in the weather there. Okay, and again, the dates I have are November 6th through the 9th, but it could be a little bit before and after there. Now, when we get into the Texas border zones, I do believe there's going to be tents, and I'm getting something with cartel or migrant policy flashpoints. So there's going to be something really strong coming in with the cartel. And I believe this is going to be a flashpoint around the mid-month of November. So we need to pay attention for that. When we get into the state of Tennessee, it does show mild earthquake, and I'm feeling that. It does feel like it feels a little more towards, could be Memphis, maybe a little more eastward. East Tennessee, but there is a mild shake there, and there could also be a sinkhole, open sinkhole, that could activate somewhere near the November 25th, 28th timeline. It's interesting. I'm not really picking up where that would be, but it comes in with Tennessee, so it's possible that something opens up from this little quake. But the sinkhole, really, I mean, we have them here in Florida as well, so just open mind there. Okay, let's move on to West Coast, California, Nevada, Arizona, Washington State, Oregon, Colorado. We have Uranus strong over San Francisco, the Silicon Valley. I'm getting with that Uranus is coming in, it's a major data security scare is what I'm getting, or AI ethics debate. So there could be a debate on how things are run and done with AI, but there's also something with security there as well. Now we get into Southern California. I do feel there's going to be an earthquake, tremors. The window for that would be around November 12th through the 16th, but it doesn't feel to be very strong, but it between a 4.8 and 5.5 range is what I'm getting there. Okay, let's go into Seattle and Portland areas. I do see protests in those regions around climate and housing issues. Then we get into Colorado. I'm looking here. Yeah, the temp swing. So Colorado, you're going to get some strange weather before Thanksgiving. Blizzards before Thanksgiving. I don't know if that's common, but it's showing up in the astrology, and it's also what I'm seeing. I'm just seeing people driving in snow trying to get turkey before the turkey time. So it feels to be about a week out before Thanksgiving, possibly something to do with snowstorm, blizzard. All right, let's move into the mountain regions, Southwest, which would cover Utah, New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado. So we have strong Aquarius influence in those areas. So I believe a possible announcement of major aquifer or a possible water legislation could come through. And what I mean by aquifer, I'm going to spell that for you. Aquifer. So it's something to do with water and a legislation. Possible meteor or bright sky phenomenon, which would take place around mid-November, would be visible from desert in the southwest, which are the areas I just mentioned, Utah, New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado. So you guys may experience some really unusual bright lights in the sky, not something you've seen before, and this could be in the news, right? So that's what I have for the United States for now, and I will be working on my UK, England, astrology and channeling. This one wore me out, so give me a few days to recover, and I will be putting out my next video for that. If you're new to my channel, please hit the like button, share, subscribe, cut on the notification bell, and thank you guys so much for watching.